But in the prehistoric times, a rape was a very normal and everyday occurrence in the society, and that's how females used to survive. In the it was tough for feminine energy to really survive in that hyper dominating masculine collective energy. So what happened is, as energies, these masculine and feminine energies, they evolved. The women became more and more submissive, and that is how evolution works. Evolution tries to find any way that can help a species survive. So the women, they survived, and that's how their psychology formed, because the great our ancestors, the men were basically like dominating and abusing and raping and assaulting the women, and the women got so used to that in the current time period, what happens is women become sexually active if they can find men who can, because it's all evolution, right? It's sex and attraction. It's actually related. It's actually very much linked to that prehistoric evolutionary thing. So what happened is, in today's society, in our modern society, a lot of women still get turned on by men who are alpha, who they sense that energy with, that in the bedroom those men who can basically satisfy those women, basically really give them, what I'm trying to say, like a good time. A good time is because their psychology is right now formed because of that the whole evolution, and that is how it came down. And the younger females, their psyche just formed because this is like how they say generational trauma. Trauma follows through generation, like it comes down generations, trauma. And so this is where I think happened, and this is why in today's time, women, they are completely aware that they kind of I really I think after so many years, I understand like the point of view of women. Like, I'm able to see like what women see. Like when good, nice guys, the betas, who are good people, genuinely good people, when they try and approach these women, and they obviously see like this guy is trying to get with me, like get in my pants and have a relationship with me long term also. So these women, they actually want these guys, but it's because of the whole evolution and the past of how they evolved, how their psychology evolved. They're just not turned on by the betas, because that is not how society was. So the modern women, they're not getting turned on by the betas, obviously, because of the evolution. So they're getting turned on by the alphas, but at the same time, they know that the betas would be better as a friend, like as a long-term companion. As far as companionship goes, the beta males are, like, obviously in that spectrum, the beta males are better. So now spectrum, that whole alpha beta, like everything is relative. Like a beta is beta because there are people who are more alpha to them. Like there are betas below the beta. So it's all a spectrum really. And so the women are now in this difficult situation where they're unable to decide their life partner, because the alpha is going to satisfy them in bed, but the beta are unable to satisfy them in bed. But like the companionship, friendship, long-term relationship, the whole love and romance, the betas, the alphas obviously don't have that skill, because the more brutally masculine you are, like you have to have some portion of femininity in you, to be able to, you know, just vibe in that whole. I don't know how to say this. Like it's like for a relationship to work, like yeah, the whole masculine, feminine, but both have to have some kind of for a healthy for a relationship. See, a brutally masculine guy and a very soft, weak, fragile feminine, they can hook up and it can work, but it'll be in a very codependent and very abusive. It can tend to be not always, like it doesn't have to be like always abusive. Even a hyper masculine guy, but um, it it might become that abusive codependent relationship where the female is just there because she's just there. I mean, this guy can still, like he gets her on, but gets her turned on, but it's just all a very sexual and very primate kind of relationship, like almost like an animalistic kind of relationship, which I see a lot, honestly speaking, in the Western societies. In India, that's not the case because the whole evolutionary thing I told you, that yes, that's a generalized, that happened everywhere, but I think that happened more in these Game of Thrones and Vikings kind of areas where it's like more of the European kind of area, the monarchies. As far as India goes, India, I think, even from the very beginning, India was very um, overall compared to other countries. India have been very genuinely considerate of each other, regardless of men and women. They have been very balanced, the whole masculine, feminine. Because what I see, even in looking at historic time periods, Indian men, even the hyper masculine ones, have a very crisp femininity, coating a layer of femininity on them. But if you consider Western societies, the masculine, brutal masculine guys are like absolutely like animals and beasts. Like they have zero femininity. Uh, like it's very unevolved, really. Kind of to carry that Neanderthal, the gym going guy. Yeah, we have that in India as well, but I've seen, like, if you go to the gyms in India, if you go to the gyms in um, anywhere in America, California, or whatever, like New York, yeah, you will find a really like what I'm saying is like, yeah, like, you heard me, yeah, like in India, yeah, like I told you, that crisp layer coating of femininity is there on even the most hyper masculine and masculine guys, but which is good, like and even the women in India, they have that crisp layer of masculinity. Even the more feminine women, they have some sort of leadership. They're not really that, oh, I am a damsel in distress. There are no women in India who are damsel in distress. Like, yeah, there are damsels in distress in India, but the damsels in distress in the white people, sorry, don't try to be racist here, but yeah, anyways, the North Americans and all the Europeans, that's just different. It's just the whole thing is different. Yeah, the women in India also have that crisp coating of masculinity on them, which is good. Which is why I think that the whole relationship issue is and the masculine feminine divide is not so much in India as it is to Western countries. And I don't know about the whole thing, this aspect of life. When I think of other countries like other Eastern countries like Japan and Korea, I don't know how that works over there. But as far as this goes, and yeah, the Eastern, excuse me, in the Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, well, and Middle East, they're basically on a developmental level. Like when it comes to psychological development, they're pretty far behind. So I don't think, and frankly speaking, I don't have that much knowledge about the whole Arabic world. And but the thing is, yeah. So yeah, because of that whole masculine. Now, what I'm trying to say here is the whole relationship issue is, first of all, your problem with your personal relationship is it's because you're failing to understand the partner, And yeah, I mean, as a guy, yeah, like women leave men because they're not that attractive in modern society. Even in India, they do. They're very choosy and they're very particular. Like, this is my guy, and he's more masculine, so why not, right? But you have to try to see the value in a person, like irrespective of their gender, of their masculine, feminine, whatever. Try to see, because every person, like that whole onion metaphor, is it a metaphor? No, personification, right? The onion, if we use onion as a personification, every person has a layer to them. So you have to try and appreciate. What I'm trying to say is basically the layers that they represent. Like every person, irrespective of their gender, diaspora, you know, everyone has layers. Everyone has incredible amounts of depth. I mean, oh my God, I have like with my deep one-on-one conversations with different people, um, there's just so much depth when it comes to people. Like I now obviously men don't open up that much, so I've been able to explore the depths in females. Like females have so much depths to them. Like I remember this one girl I was having a really deep conversation with.